Hello and welcome to another episode of New Paradigm. I'm your host, Samuell Benta, inspiring interviews with inspiring people to inspire others. Today's positive quote is, "Children learn more from who you are than what you teach." Think about that one. And I'm with an amazing individual today. She used to be in a gang selling drugs. Now she's a happily married woman, mother of 6. She's young, she's talented, she has a love for family and uplifting other families through education, an inspirational speaker, personal development mentor, mindset coach, and CEO of Parents Talk. I welcome Leah McQueen. How are you?
I'm good.
She's good. She's kind of just like, oh wow, he just said all that stuff about me. Like,
yeah.
She's feeling really good right now.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Like I met Leah at the Ignite event, and we were kind of talking on Facebook and stuff,
Yeah.
and I think what resonated with me about her was this whole parents and children thing, because like that means a lot to my heart. So I'm interested to know, Leah, what's your story? You was in a gang, now you're happily married with 6 children.
Yeah.
What happened?
A lot. I was in a gang. I sold drugs, and I not only sold drugs, I robbed people, did a load of horrible things that I regret now. My brother was then murdered, and that's when things began to change for me. I started to realise that life wasn't for me, and I didn't want to end up like my brother. So I had to make changes. The changes at first were minor changes, like moving out of the area, to then getting a hostel, moving out of your mum's house and everything like that. That was a big deal. Going from a house where I was very safe, and my mum went to work, tried her best, and being alone in a hostel by yourself, no longer selling drugs. So the money that I used to get from that was completely different. Having to sign on for the first time ever, getting £160 every 2 weeks compared to having grands, it was a big difference. But I chose to make that change because I loved my life. It made me realise how much my life was important to me. So that's the reason why I started to change. And then I met my husband. He's very much himself. He doesn't try to please anybody or be anyone who he's not. And he was, how can I put it? He's never been romantic.
Oh, okay.
He's never been romantic, but he understood where I was coming from. We both kind of bounced off of each other like yin and yang. I was the type of person where if I want something, I'll do whatever I've got to do to go and get it. And even if it meant getting into trouble. And he was the type of person that was completely different. It was just like, babes, if you really want it, we can save, we could do this, and then you can have it. And he made me think completely differently. You know, like at first I would always pick arguments with him about money because I was so used to selling drugs and making that money. It'd be, I need money, I don't know what you're doing, da, da, da. Until I realised it's not all about money. It's something bigger than that. Then I got pregnant with my first child when I was 17. I had him when I was 18. And that's when everything stopped. Everything completely stopped. I had to concentrate on my baby and my pregnancy and eating healthily and all the rest of it. And I lost a lot of friends, but I was happy. And that's when I started to realise, you know what, happiness is not about financial gain. Happiness is from within, and my wealth is in my children, the love, my wisdom, what I've got, what I've learned from my experiences. So that's why I'm here today. No longer selling drugs, no longer in a gang.
Amazing. So at what point was that switch? Because I know you said how, you got married. You had your first child at 17, right?
18 when I had him.
At 18, sorry. You had first child at 18. So all the gang-related activity, I just want to go back there because we've got the rest of the show to talk about all the good stuff.
Yeah.
I think what people need to know is where a person has really, really come from, because I know there's someone watching this show right now who's in this position and they need to hear exactly what it is that you have to say. So just going back to all the time of gangs, first of all, how you got in that gang.
Okay.
What it is you had to do, what was the mindset, and how was you operating, and what, now that you've grown from it, because you now know what prison you was in mentally, I think it's important that they know where all that came from.
Okay, well, I was luckier than most girls to get into a gang because my brothers were in gangs. So I didn't have to do anything per se. I was good at fighting, so it was a thing of, well, she's a good fighter, she knows how to fight, so she can roll with us. My brothers, they weren't too keen on it at first. They were very protective, but the way they saw it is, as long as you're with us, you're okay. But when I was in the gang, it wasn't like how TV perceives it. It was very family orientated. We all came together. When we were hurt, there was someone to call, The only time it really gets dangerous is when you try to pull out or there's things to do.
I just want to interject there. So family orientated in terms of gangs. Now we're kind of getting into that whole thing about people being in gangs. It's kind of that whole, we're family, we're cool like that kind of. I've seen it in a lot of like newspaper articles and stuff like that where it's classed as their family, especially with a lot of like the American films and stuff like that, and the communities out there, they class it as that's their family. And, not that I'm stereotyping, it mainly comes down from broken households.
Yeah.
So, do you think that may have something to do with...
It's got a lot to do with it. It's got a lot to do with it, but I have to put it out there. The biggest gangsters are the ones who have got a good home. Trust me on that one.
Oh, well, I'd like to know about that one.
The biggest gangsters are the ones who have got a good home.
Wow.
There are the leaders and there are the followers. There's a big difference between both. And then there are the gang members who just want to be accepted for who they are. And for me, I was accepted for who I was at home, living with my mum. My mum, well-educated woman, has always had an amazing job, very intellectual. I wasn't like that. So it was hard for me to try and fit in. I was never academically smart. So when my sister would get all the praise for being academically smart all the time, and my mum's partner used to always say, "You're brilliant, you're doing this," and it was more like, "Leah, have you read your book today? Why haven't you read your book today? Okay, Leah, you've got to do this. You're not reading the book properly," kind of thing. So for me, it was an escape. It was an escape where I could just be myself. When I was with my brothers, I could be myself completely. But when you're with an adult, it's so much harder, because in my household, we're brought up with, you've got to respect your elders. Like my grandma and all the rest of it, I've got so much respect for them. When I go and speak to them, I speak completely different to the way how I speak to Jay or you or anyone else, because it's a respect, I remember my granddad, he was the head teacher at Peckham Boys' School, but he's very well spoken and everything like that. So for me, he used to love opera, and I can't sing for shit. But I used to stand on the stairs and sing, like try to sing opera music, and he used to come downstairs and be like, "Wow, well done." And I used to love making him smile, making him happy, but that was the only way how I knew to make people happy was by trying to be what they want me to be. So when I started with the gangs and everything like that, I was able to just be me, and people accepted me for being me. And that for me was the biggest part of the gang for me. I was able to do what I wanted when I wanted to do it. And then the money side came in. And that's when it gets dangerous, because it's no longer about family. That bit goes out the window. You know, you could be my best friend today, but if I owe you £400 or £500, you're not going to be my best friend tomorrow. You know? So it was hard for me to get into the drugs, selling the drugs and things like that, because of who my brothers were. Loads of people were just like, no, I know your brother. I can't sell that to you. So I then ventured out of the gang where I knew I was safe. I ventured out to different areas just so I can pick up. It wasn't even weed, it was cocaine, so I could pick it up so I can go and sell it. So it was very hard staying safe. It was hard. It was harder because I was a girl.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine you're going to pick up loads of drugs and you've got 10,000 on you, and you're a girl, and I was driving at the age of 14. You know, going to pick up drugs and coming back, and sometimes you'd go there and there'd be a group of guys there, so you know that, all right, even though you're there, you can't actually phone and tell anyone you're there because you could get robbed, you can be raped, anything can actually happen to you. And then when my brothers did find out what I was doing, they said, well, if you're going to do that, you do it with us. We don't want you going out there and doing it. So when I started selling drugs with my brothers, it got worse because I was now selling bigger bits and I was doing it in the area where I was from. So all the adults, like my friends' parents and all the rest of it, thought I was lovely, well-mannered Leah and all the rest of it, but jealousy starts. When you start walking around with big chains and all the rest of it.
Oh, so you didn't keep it quiet then?
No, I didn't.
She was like, I made this money, I'm gonna look good.
I was very bossy. I was one of them girls that had rings on every finger and like 3 rings on the pinky finger.
Yeah, all right.
That was me.
What is Parents Talk about? What's your mission, and what is it that you're looking for from this?
Well, Parents Talk is about parents, obviously,
Yeah.
but teaching parents that it takes a community to a village to raise a child. So it's about bringing parents together, teaching them about mindset, personal development, teaching them how to love themselves. Because if you love yourself, you can put your everything into your child, you know? We're always taught as parents, your children come first. And that's not always the case. If you put your children first all the time and you become last, you break yourself and then what use are you to your children? So it's about acknowledging what's going on in the community for parents as well, so parents can actually have somewhere to go and speak to people without fear of judgment, basically. We want parents to come together and speak about what they're going through as parents without fear of social services and the other big corporate companies, and just be able to say, look, like my mum would have needed, my daughter's smoking drugs, what do I do? What can I do to try and stop this? Is it okay if I can bring her here and we have some mediation? So we're offering mediation services for parents and children to speak, as well as both parents to come together and speak as well.
I think that's definitely needed. I think it's amazing, and I know it's going to be a success. you're already starting to see things happening for you now, aren't
I am.
you? And it's happening so quick, isn't it?
It's just gone like
It's just going up.
Yeah.
So that shows you you're pretty much on the right path.
Yeah.
So just keep on doing what you're doing.
Yep, I definitely will.
Absolutely amazing. Leah, it's been great having you on the show, and there's one question I'm going to ask you, which I ask everybody. If the human race was going to be extinct in 24 hours, what would you do or say to stop it from happening?
To stop it from happening?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
What could you do?
Use my voice, talk, innit? Talk myself
Well,
out.
after all, that's what parents talk's all about, right?
I would talk and get a rocket out of it.
Should get a rocket out of here. All right, then. All right, brilliant. Well, Leah, thank you very much for coming on the show. Do you want to just share your information with people, how they can get hold of you and find out more about Parents Talk?
To find out more about Parents Talk, follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at Parents Talk or Leah McQueen Inspires on Facebook.
Yep. And all the information's on the screen, just in case you don't know how to spell it, because some of you are funny like that, aren't you? Anyway, brilliant. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Leah, for coming in.
You're more than welcome.
And we are going to be cutting to Samuel's Knowledge Corner very, very shortly. But just before that, if you know anyone that you would like to see interviewed on New Paradigm, please email me at bentatalks@gmail.com. Information's on your screen. And now, straight to Samuel's Knowledge Corner. Are you Sleeping Beauty? Are you sleeping? Are you aware that you may be sleeping? And when I say, are you Sleeping Beauty, are you unconsciously sleeping to your life? A lot of people aren't doing things with their lives because they are sleeping. They don't necessarily believe in themselves. They may be hanging around with people they shouldn't be hanging around. You're an awesome being. Sleeping Beauty. You are a beauty. Yeah, you are. But it's time that everyone started seeing you wake up. It's time to wake up and show people exactly what it is that you can do. You're an amazing person. So many talents within you. Let's break out of the Sleeping Beauty mode and let's get you really waking up. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs, be grateful and just be like, yes, you know what? I can actually do this. Let's wake up and just say yes to the world. Wake up and say yes. Let's change the attitude. Let's change the attitude and wake up. Because what has sleeping done for you? We all love sleep. I'm not saying it's bad, but if you're sleeping on your dreams and days are going by, weeks are going by, months are going by, years are going by, did you do what you said you was going to do? Did you get started on that idea you said you was going to get started on? Or was you like Sleeping Beauty over here, still sleeping, waiting for that someone to come your way to show you how to do it? When you can decide right now, I'm going to do it. Yes, you can. It's time to wake up. Stop being a Sleeping Beauty. It's your time, and it's your time